Every wild animal on the planet has a threat response wired in. For lions, for wildfire, for venom. And at the top of that list, above every other predator, sits something that doesn't have claws, doesn't have fangs, and can't outrun almost any of them. You. Researchers have tested this directly, and what they found wasn't close. It wasn't a slight edge. It was a fear response bigger than the one animals show for the actual apex predators they share their habitat with. So what happens when you actually measure it? In 2019, researcher Liana Zanet and her team ran an experiment in South Africa's Greater Kruger region. They set up speakers in the bush and played recorded sounds to local wildlife, lions snarling, dogs barking, gunshots, and human voices just talking at a normal volume. The animals ran from the human voices faster and more often than they ran from actual lions. Not a scripted growl, not a threat display, just people talking. That was enough to outscore the roar of the animal that actually hunts them for a living. Here's what makes that stranger. This fear doesn't take generations to build. Wildlife researchers tracking hunted and protected populations have found the same pattern again and again. A population that's never been shot at, trapped, or chased can shift from calm to fully alert within a single bad encounter. One shot fired, one close call with a vehicle. That's often enough to reset how an entire group of animals treats humans from that point on. Compare that to how animals treat other threats, a drought, a disease, even a rival predator moving into the territory. Those take time to register as danger. Humans don't get that grace period. That same speed shows up in birds, of all places. In 2019, biologist Daniel Blumstein and his team measured flight initiation distance, the exact point where an animal breaks and runs, across bird populations in areas with different levels of hunting pressure. Birds in hunted regions took off from more than twice the distance of birds in protected ones, and the gap appeared within a single generation, not several. A species with a brain the size of a fingertip was still tracking precisely how dangerous the local humans had turned out to be. That precision goes even further than distance. In 2014, biologist Karen McComb and her team studied elephants in Kenya's Amboseli region, playing back the voices of two neighboring groups, Maasai men, who have historically hunted elephants, and Kamba men, who rarely do. The elephants reacted to the Maasai voices with immediate, bunched-up defensive behavior. The Kamba voices barely registered. Same species, same language family, same distance. But the elephants had sorted humans into different categories of danger and reacted accordingly. So, what is it about a human, specifically, that flips the switch this fast? Field biologists point to a specific set of cues: an upright silhouette, a slow and deliberate gait, and, critically, forward-facing eyes. Most prey animals have eyes on the sides of their heads, built to watch for danger from any direction. Predators have eyes that face forward, locked onto a target. Humans read as that second kind, instantly, to almost every species tested. Add scent and sound to that visual profile, and an animal doesn't need a single bad memory to know what it's looking at. The shape alone is doing the warning. That response also isn't blind to circumstance. In protected reserves where hunting has been absent for generations, animals allow closer approach than their counterparts in areas where hunting persists, a sign that experience adjusts the reaction, layered on top of the instinct that's already there. The signal starts with the silhouette and the eyes. Exposure decides how strong it gets from there. Put all three of those pieces together, and something becomes hard to ignore. Animals aren't afraid of humans because of size. Most of the creatures fleeing at the sound of a human voice could outrun, outmuscle, or outlast a person in a straight physical contest. Size was never the deciding factor. Every apex predator most people picture, lion, wolf, great white shark, built that reputation the same way, by being the encounter another species doesn't walk away from. Humans built the identical reputation without matching any of them in size, speed, or teeth, through presence alone in nearly every habitat tested. What every study keeps landing on instead is position, not the biggest animal in the habitat, not the fastest or the strongest. The one every other species has quietly agreed, without negotiation, to treat as the greatest danger in the landscape.